Hi folks, it's Sarah here, and this is the week 7 comp prep roundup. And today I'm going to be talking about game mode and what I mean by game mode and what it means. And I'm also going to go through a potential show schedule. I've been doing some Googling, and as per usual, I don't make life easy for myself. I have come up with a fascinating, very interesting potential show schedule. So let's get stuck in.
Hi folks, it's Sarah here. As you can see, I'm now in the city and I'm just heading off to work. Downsides of being a COO, I guess, is that you've got to be in work when you've got a big pitch coming up and a big client demo coming up. You've got to be the one in work directing the traffic, but that's all good. I just wanted to sort of talk to you now quickly about mindset. I guess for the last 6 weeks and stuff, I've been going through the sort of process of, doing all the prep and increasing exercise and dropping the calories, just going through my usual process. But I haven't really been particularly engaged, if you see what I mean. How do I explain this? Like, usually when I get into comp prep, I get to a point where everything all of a sudden just clicks, and then I become hyper-focused. You get this hyper-focus when literally you just become like, everything becomes really, really simple. It's like, is this going to get me to my competition? Yes or no? Everything becomes down to a sort of yes or no decision. So you kind of tend to do things that will get you to your prep, and anything that's not going to get you to your competition, you just kind of eliminate, and your thinking becomes super simple. But the whole last 6 weeks, because I haven't really known how my body's going to react, I'm having to change things. So, this prep so far has been very different from any other prep that I've done. I guess I haven't really known what show I'm going to do as well, and my target show has changed from what I thought was August then back to June, and now it's October, so it's given me more time to prep, because things haven't been really locked down right from the word go. I mean, usually when I start to prep, it's like, okay, this is my target competition, I've got X number of weeks, go. Usually within about 3 or 4 weeks, because my body starts responding incredibly quickly, usually I switch into that game mode, and this absolutely focused game mode, and just all sort of wobbles and doubts and sort of questioning ceases to exist. But I haven't really got to that space yet, even though I'm 6 weeks in, because, like I say, although I'm seeing sort of indications of changing with my body physically, it's not changing on the scales. I've had to do a very different diet from usual. So just things have really been a bit wobbly, I suppose. And I really haven't been enjoying my training. I've been getting up in the morning going, what the hell am I doing this for? And I've been in a really negative sort of frame of mind. I mean, I've been doing everything with my usual sort of intensity and stuff like that, but mentally I haven't actually been as engaged as I usually am. And when you're in prep, you do need to be engaged 100% in the whole process. It's got to be all in, really. And I just haven't been able to click into that game mode, and it's been bothering me, sort of thing. But I was cycling into the gym yesterday. Again, I'd got up and it was like a Saturday and I'm tired and I just want to stay in bed and have a lie-in and all of that sort of stuff. Yes, we all get it. It's perfectly normal, but I was going through all of that. Really? Again? Do I have to go to the gym again? On Tuesday with my training, I got to the gym and I just said to my trainer, I said, I can't lift a weight. We've got to do something different. We've got to get outside. We've got to do some fast, high intensity psycho shit, stairs, sprints and all sorts of whatever. I said, I just can't lift a weight. So like on Tuesday, I had a bit of a sort of kind of a mini meltdown. I just was not in the right frame of mind to lift a weight. Fortunately, my trainer, he's very good. He completely gets me. That's why we work so well. But anyway, so Tuesday was a bit of an off day, because my head wasn't totally in the game. Emotionally, I'm just not where I'm telling myself to be. So I've been getting by on discipline right now. It's just repeating the process. I know what to do. So I've been getting by on the discipline, but I haven't been fully engaged. My whole, you just get this feeling when you're fully engaged. It's just like your whole body wants to do it. So like I say, I just haven't got to that space yet. And this week was a bit of a, like I say, I did hit my training, but Tuesday I had a bit of a no, can't do it. Anyway, so I was cycling in yesterday and I was in that kind of like, really, must I, why, sort of headspace. But all of a sudden, and I was going to a different gym, which is a longer cycle as well. So that really didn't help. It was like, oh God, why am I going to this gym? Just because it was on the way to work. It was like, I don't like this gym and it's not as good as my other gym and it's longer and all the rest of it. So I was going through, I had all of this rubbish going through my head. But all of a sudden, about halfway to the gym, cycling, something just clicked, and literally I could just feel this feeling come over me like this. It just sort of literally started my head and all the way down my body, and all of a sudden my body just clicked. I can't explain it, but all of a sudden I just hit game mode, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's such a good feeling, because all of a sudden all the doubts and fears go away when you get into game mode fully, like physically, mentally, emotionally, the whole lot. Everything becomes very simple. So I smashed out. I had a really, really good training session yesterday. My whole attitude, I mean, I've been in a very negative space actually this year, really. But all of a sudden my whole attitude has changed. It's like, even though I'm in at work on a Sunday, it's like, yep, so what? Doesn't matter. I'm actually in a really, all of a sudden, now that I've hit game mode, it's like, yeah, okay, it's just what needs to be done. It doesn't bother me. Stuff is not bothering me, whereas previously it has been. I've been getting sort of just cross at silly little things and a little bit short-tempered, which is, I've been having to be very, very cautious and aware of myself, because I'm managing a team now. I can't get snappy and cranky with them, so I've actually had to be very, very even more strict with myself, just to make sure that when I'm talking with my team, dealing with my team, that I'm not projecting my stuff onto them. But like I say, all of a sudden yesterday, I just literally felt this feeling come over me, and it's like, game mode. Now I'm on. Now it's game on, and now I just feel that it's all just going to work. I really can't explain this, but like I say, even though I'm in on a Sunday, it doesn't bother me. I've got shitloads to do, but it doesn't bother me. Now I know that it's just going to start working, and I just can't explain it. If you're prepping for the first time, you just won't understand this. But the longer you prep, the more you get used to these sort of feels and sensations, the more you learn your body and tune into a prep, the more you'll start understanding these, what I call feels. And when you get these sort of feels, you pay attention to them, because they really are a very good indication of where you're at. I mean, like I say, I get to a particular point, and it's probably right when I hit about the 10% body fat, that I just feel kind of bulletproof. It's a very weird one, and I always pay attention to when I feel heavier or feel lighter. And when I feel lighter, I'll weigh myself, because generally it does mean I've had a drop on the scale. So feels are very important, and it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be mental. And like I say, I just had this feeling yesterday that literally just came over me as I was cycling along, and I just clicked. So now I feel that it's all going to really start going incredibly well from here on, and I feel that I'm just in game mode. I'll just wrap this one up, and then we'll get on to the next part. Okay, take care, bye.
Okay, so I've just talked a bit about game mode and mindset, and I actually did record that last week because I had so much extra to get through last week with my blood test results. I've actually saved that to this week. So I actually felt like I hit in game mode last week. This week there's been a couple of sort of instances which have really, really sort of kept my motivation up, or really increased my motivation. And one of those was I was in the gym this week, and there was a girl there who was clearly in competition shape. And actually, the season kicked off yesterday. It's very exciting. I was down at the IFBB Arnold Classic qualifiers, and I had one of my posing clients on stage, and she just looked beautiful. She posed beautifully. I was very much a proud mum. She just looked gorgeous. So I was very, very proud of her. So that's really motivating. When you go to a show, it can be incredibly motivating, and I find it incredibly motivating seeing those girls on stage. And there was one girl on stage who won the open figure, and she just picked me. I was on stage with her at the Arnold Classic 3 years ago now, and she just picked me into second place. So I was very, very interested to see how she's changed in the last 3 years. She's come a long way, phenomenally. She's one of the few people who can get her legs as shredded as I can, and that's why that's why I was really interested to see her on stage. She's just looking fabulous. So that was really, really motivating going to the show. And like I say, at the gym this week, there was a girl who's clearly in competition shape. So she'll be on stage very, very soon. So, and I was saying to my trainer, I was like, oh damn! I wish I was another 6 or 8 weeks further along, because then we could sort of surreptitiously sort of eye each other off and see who's looking the better, kind of thing, because that's what you kind of do. So that was really quite motivating. But another thing that I've done this week is I've actually come up with a game plan. I've come up with a competition plan. And I'm really quite excited about this. If I do this, it will be absolutely phenomenal. I'm just going to flip over and start talking through. It's just going to be the craziest season. If I pull this off, it will be the craziest season. So I've called it my Pro World Tour 2019. It's a big one. Look, you see here, there's 12 shows starting from June, then going through July. I don't have a show yet for August, but it would be nice to have a show in August. Then look at September. Pretty much every weekend in September, I've got a show lined up. Potentially 3 shows in October, and then 3 shows in November. And it spans everything. So it goes from Greece back to Australia. So I'm going to be in 3 states: Victoria, New South Wales, and Queensland. I'm going to potentially, so that's 3 countries as well, with Greece, Australia, and America. There's actually a show just round the corner from my house, which I'm really excited about. This PCA Nationals is literally just about 500 meters away from my front door. So that's why I'm doing that one, which will be really, really exciting. So what I've done here, people go, why do you do so many shows and stuff? Well, because I love competing, and I love doing shows that I haven't done before. And with where bodybuilding is going in Australia, there's, within the last year or so, there's been some significant sort of separations. We had the ICN and the INBA splitting up. Then the IFBB have split into 2. The AMB has now separated, and some people from the AMB have now formed the NBA, which is this one here in Sydney. The PCA, there were 4 people who split away from NABA WFF and aligned with the PCA. And now they've kind of separated as well. So we've got AWA, and I'm doing the AWA one, AWA Bendigo Classic, because it's a lovely show. I love Bendigo. I'm doing the AWA Classic because I know who runs the show, and they run a really good show. So I'm doing this weird collection of amateur and professional titles. Purely, most of them are sort of kind of for fun, or to support a particular promoter, or to try a new federation, or to do a particular show. For example, the AMB Miss Fitness, I was desperate to do that last year because it was the first time a show in Australia had run a professional lineup that was open to professionals from all federations. And I was desperately upset that I couldn't get to do this when I had to pull out of my shows last year. So I'm determined to do Miss Fitness with the ANB. And the week before that is the new NBA Federation, which has been created by some people who used to be in the ANB. Now, the NBA is actually affiliated with the OCB in the US, and the OCB is a big natural federation, and they've got a massive show called the Yorton Cup, which was named after a guy, I think in the 60s, called Chen Yorton, and his claim to fame is he actually beat Arnie once. So the NBA could be a really good avenue for Australian competitors to get overseas and get that pro status. Again, the NBA is also open to professionals from all federations. So look, that could be a really interesting show. What I've got here is I've got 12 shows spreading over 4.5 months in 3 different countries and 3 different states. And I think it's 6 federations, is it? You've got the PNBA, IFBB, AWA, PCA, NBA, and AMB. 6 federations. So that's going to be an absolute monster season. And big caveat, of course, is can I get ready in time for the PNBA in Greece? Now, here's the other thing. If I can get ready for the PNBA ready in Greece, with the PNBA, I'm actually going to be attempting a Grand Slam. So there's the World Championships, the World Cup, the Natural Universe, and Natural Olympia. And I don't know if that's ever been done before. So with the PNBA, I'm going to be attempting a grand slam of their big four pro shows. If I can pull this off, it will be quite phenomenal. So where does that take me? So pretty much I would start in Greece, then I'd come back to Melbourne, then I've got the IFBB in Bendigo, then I'd be going up and down to Sydney, Brisbane, Queensland, then over to Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Then I'll be going to Bendigo twice. So I'm going to be doing a fair bit of travelling. So here we go. We've got Melbourne shows. We've got 2 in Bendigo. I've got 2 Sydney shows. I've got a Brisbane show and a Queensland show. So this is my plan of attack this year. And look, like I say, if I pull this off, it's going to be quite phenomenal. And a lot of people say to me, why do you do so many shows? Why do you do so many competitions? And I have just said, because I love competing. But also there's a very good reason for it. I find that my condition comes in better the more I compete. So the longer I compete and the more I compete, the better my condition gets. I'm usually in my best shape right at the end of a very long season. So, for example, in 2017, I started off, my very first show was on the 2nd of June, and that was a PCA show before the PCA came out to Australia, actually. In fact, it was the week that the PCA decided to come to Australia that I was back in England competing with them. So, and I was in phenomenal shape then. You know, I was down at 52 kilos, which was the lightest I'd been on stage for probably about 2 years. And I was looking in what I thought was the best shape I'd ever been in at that particular show. So then I did the PCA shows, and then I had a gap until September when I did the AWA Bendigo Classic. And for the AWA Bendigo Classic, in fact, that's what the photographs at the beginning and the end of my videos are from, is that Bendigo Classic. And I hit 51.5 kilos at that show. And that was the same weight I competed at in my novice season back in 2011. So I was absolutely astonished that I hit that level of leanness. That's the leanest I've ever been. And then I managed to maintain that condition all the way through September, October, and up to the World Cup and Olympia. And that's, you know, I was just in the best shape by the time I got to the World Cup and Olympia. I was just in the best shape I've ever been in. So the longer I compete, the more shows I do, the better my condition gets. And competing actually can help bring your conditioning in. So look, you know, often not people ask me sort of how many shows should they do, and I always tell people to do as many as they possibly can. And I also advise people to try different federations. You know, a lot of people get sort of, you know, they might work with a particular coach who's got a particular favourite federation, but there's no reason you can't do other federations. You don't get penalised in your scores. And look, sometimes if you do a particular federation and you're not doing particularly well, it's actually worth giving another federation a go, because they do all look for something slightly different. So, for example, if you did bikini category in IFBB, you actually need to be quite muscular. Whereas if you turned up at, say, an ICN show with that muscular bikini look, then you wouldn't do very well at all, because you'd be too muscular for ICN bikini. You probably would have to go up to ICN fitness or even potentially Figure International. That's how muscular IFBB bikini girls are getting these days. So look, if you're not doing particularly well in one federation and you've always done that one federation, try a different one. There's 15 now in Australia. There's no excuse for sticking with one federation, particularly if you're not doing particularly well and you're not really enjoying the whole competing experience. Every single one of these federations has different things to offer athletes. So go try them out, see what you're suited to, see what you prefer, see what you like. Some of them are more glamorous than others. Some of them have quicker formats. Some of them have more stage time. You know, go find a different federation that works for you. So that's a little bit of a tip there. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. Like I say, it's kind of quite daunting, this whole schedule. But now that I've got this laid out, I'm really, really in a very good space. I'm very comfortable, and I'm just really, really focused on getting this done. Like I say, if I can do this, if I can pull this off, it would be quite phenomenal. So we'll leave it there. I'll just put up my photos for this week, and I don't think there's been too many changes. I will do a progressive soon, but it doesn't look like there's been too many changes. So we'll just keep going. This week with diet. Sorry, I haven't. This week with diet. Sorry, last week with diet. I have actually made a point of increasing the number of sort of thyroid-friendly foods, and I have also increased the amount of phytoestrogenic foods. So I'm still going to focus on those foods, but I am going to shave my calories a tiny little bit. Remember the video, I had my kitchery dish and I was having 2 dessert spoons of kitchery on each of my salads. Well, I'm going to just shave that back to 1 dessert spoon at lunch, but 2 dessert spoons straight after workout. So I'm just going to shave my calories a tiny bit through this kitchery dish this week, and we'll keep smashing it hard. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a good week. So take care, and we'll talk to you next week.